Good morning, I'm Kendall Smith and we're here at White Rock Vineyards. This is our dog Polo, who is our sheepdog mascot of the property. White Rock Vineyards is just off of Soda Canyon, just north of Napa on the east side. We're our own kind of little valley tucked off Soda Canyon. We specialize in Chardonnay and Cabernet Sauvignon. We also have Malbec, Petit Verdot, Cab Franc, Vineyard, and make a whole host of wines here at White Rock. So White Rock is about 70 acres, about which half of that is planted in vineyards. The rest of the property is a lot to maintain, and so we've got Polo here who watches our goats and helps us maintain it, especially after we went through the 2017 fires and lost our house, another house, and 2 barns. So we're trying to come back from that and do some rebuilding. But here we are in the middle, probably the middle of our little valley, where we have kind of these great deep soils here that are great for growing Chardonnay. So this was planted rootstock 2017 and we grafted on into the old Wente clone 2018. This block thankfully survived the fire totally fine. There's a little bit of rootstock that got damaged but came back just fine. This area has some of the deeper soils on the property. As we move up the hills, we get into a lot more rock, a lot of rock outcroppings, which makes it a little bit more difficult. The vines struggle there. It's harder to really get good rooting depth and keep the water. We have to do a lot more watering up there, try to build up our soils. We add compost every fall and are planting different cover crops around the vineyard just based on the soils and what we're going for. Since the fires, and I feel like our Octobers and Novembers tend to be pretty windy, we're trying to do a lot more no-till and not cultivate as much so we don't live out here in a dust bowl during that time. So here we are in the middle of the Chardonnay. We'll plant different cover crops dependent on where we are. So this usually will have, I think up in the hills we do more of a green manure, something to help build up the soils, put more organic matter in. We don't need as much down here. Here we just need to kind of keep a good growth. So this area is kind of a pretty cold little area where the cold settles in. So we trained everything up a little bit taller. I know I am short, but these vines are taller than what we will have over on the other side. And that's so we can hopefully avoid frost, because we had quite a few frost days out here. It got pretty cold and even into the 20s, I think just not even a month ago. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of days right now. This will be the first year we're getting fruit out of here. We're trying, most of the property has been cordon pruned, where we've kind of developed these arms with spur positions. This is cane pruned, where we renew this cane every year. So we're trying something different. We want to make sure we increase the quality, keep down the disease, try to prevent any trunk diseases from happening. So it's something a little bit new here that we really haven't done before. So we'll see how this works. We do have 36 acres. This was the first 7 acres we've replanted since I've been around White Rock. So we'll learn from what we planted here when we move on to replant the rest of the vineyard in the future. We are going through and trying to mow down the weeds, do the in-row cultivation, because we don't really want to cultivate down the middle of the vine row or down the middle rows, but we want to cultivate underneath to reduce competition for the vines. I mean, the vines here really do struggle. I mean, we're on the east side, rocky, volcanic ash soils, not very fertile at all. So they really do struggle. My husband and I live here with our 2 daughters, and it's nice to see the 3rd generation living here and learning about the property. We just had our 14-year-old out suckering vines. I guess that's not really child labor if it's in the family. So teaching them and getting them to really love the spot that we live in. It's really important for us to keep it in the family and really all of us be a part of it. So that's been a great thing for all of us, and for Polo. Polo puts his mark everywhere we go.